Homebrew How To with Dan Meckley, your host. That's my bucket. That's what I use to crush my grain is a simple blender. And that's my boil pot. A lot of different stuff you're going to need. Do the best you can with what you got. You don't want to spend $1,000 just to get started. That's home malted 2-row barley. I got to knock roots off it. And I use a blender and a screen to crush my barley and knock the roots off. This is crystal malt, home roasted, home malted. I know using a blender is a little ghetto, but it is what I do. And you're going to need a hop sack. I will do a video on just brewing with a hop sack. It's actually how I started all grain brewing, was with just a hop sack. This is my screen. I crush all my grain in the blender, screen it out real good before, and then I throw it directly in my mash tun. I will do a video on a mash tun at a later date on how to make one. It's a pretty simple conversion. If you're doing bigger than 5-gallon batches, those round ones don't work very good. A good pot, a good thermometer. Got to be very careful with your temperatures, so you always want to watch those. In this particular video, I'm making a lager. This is lager dry yeast. I usually prefer wet yeast, and I will actually do a video on recycling yeast later. Maltodextrin, non-fermentable sugar. It gives your beer a mouthfeel. And if you want to know how high your alcohol content is, you're going to want to purchase a hydrometer. Hydrometer is like a $10 piece maybe. We'll do a video on using that also at a later date. And onto scales. For scales, I have, my capper. My capper's so old, but it works great. I have no reason to get a new one, so I like to use it. I just use a hanging scale here. It goes up to 15 pounds, and so it's going to work for all my brews. And then I use a little tiny postal scale for weighing my hops, just so I can be fairly precise. A hose for draining. You can buy an auto siphon, but mine's just a hose with a regular stopper clip on one end, and then I plug the other end, and I cut holes in the side, so that you're not sucking from the bottom of your bucket, you're actually sucking from above the bottom. Get away from that trub that way. You can use an auto siphon. I don't buy, or I haven't bought one. I probably should invest in one. And a stir stick. Something big, fit in your pot. You don't have to go and buy a fancy pants one, but it might work a little better. It actually wasn't expensive at all. $6, I think. Wort chiller, I will do a video on how to make a wort chiller. This is a homemade one. North Dakota, it's in the winters I use just throwing it outside. In the summers I actually use my wort chiller. This is my fridge. Got hops on the bottom, beers on the side, kegs all hooked up, and 2 kegs, CO2 tanks, pressures, caps. I forgot to mention sanitizer, you guys. Your brew is only going to be as good as you sanitize. You're going to end up with vinegar or something worse if not. Happy brewing and cheers, you guys. See you next time.